But there's no doubt there's interest for it. You're swimming in a pool where not many people are swimming. And for you, it's just now, how do you put your flag up and how do you raise it even higher so that everyone can see it? There's the brand awareness and the brand recognition that you need to be utilizing with this page, right? 100% that needs to happen. You got 11,000 people sitting there right now with nothing happening. So there's a number of different organic things that we could do to grow that. And it's more on a consistent level as well. So really, ultimately, you need to have things done every single day on that page. Not a sporadic post every so often, you know? So there needs to be a management of that and curation of content and utilizing the content you have and a number of those things. So there's that, and then there's also the what are you doing from a paid advertising to drive traffic to your funnels, to your offers, etc. So you'll get a number of free leads, as we'll call it. But me knowing you want to scale a lot faster, and that's where paid traffic comes in. If there's any ideas, I guess we're always open to ideas. And I think this is probably across the board for everyone is if you've got an idea, put it forward versus going out to do it or create it and then go, look what I did, and then it might not be the best use of our time. So it's more the, you know, I mean, I love the thinking on your feet, but before we execute any, like if it's gonna take up any of our time, let's just check in and go, hey, I'm thinking about this, what do you reckon? And it'll be just a yes or a no. Yesterday we hit our 100,000, oh actually it's 107,000, but to be real, 107,000th Instagram follower over our network, which is really exciting, especially given the fact that we came to Instagram late to the party. So we've got millions of fans over Facebook, but Instagram's slowly growing, which is great. We certainly didn't jump on Instagram when it came out. I had my Facebook blinkers on, to be honest, and played in the Facebook game for so long. You know, so the equivalent is, you know, I've got 120,000 Facebook fans, but I've got 12,000 Instagram fans. So, you know, difference in that aspect. You know, and Emily's got 500,000 Facebook fans and she's got about 30-something thousand Instagram fans. Later to the party, but we're, like I said in I think episode number 1. Right, so we come to the party late, but when we come to the party, we fucking party. Yeah. Every time I do that, you're like, fucking hell, there's way more editing in that. Yeah, so I was talking to someone regarding Campbell Media Group. They've had quotes ranging from, you know, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands a month for a deliverable, and you know, the person's just unsure of, it's almost like quote overwhelmed now, too many options and they're not sure which one to select, so they select none. But the conversation that we had and the deciding factor on it is they're gonna roll with us because they trust me. And you know, with trust comes huge responsibility. You know, people out there can build a lot of trust, but then they manipulate that trust by, you know, getting greedy. So I think if you're ever out there trying to select who do I use for whatever type of business or whatever service, is you end up going with the person or the company you trust the most. So that's why it's important to build trust in your business, in your branding, and you as a human being, as a person. Hence why, again, this is a great thing that we're doing here, this daily vlog, is if this doesn't build trust with people or true, authentic, this is Brett, you know, I don't know what else would, other than hanging out with the person on a daily basis. So, yeah, number of factors. Because what can happen is the dialogue simply just gets confused, right? It goes from black and white to gray. And if we don't have systems or processes in our business, a lot of the gray happens because it simply comes back to your own interpretation of what is being said. And she will have her own interpretation of what's being said as well. What we need to be able to establish is how are all these tasks, how are all these jobs being actually number one, orchestrated to the team, and then how do they get executed, and then how do they get tracked, how do they get measured, and all of those things. It's really important that we start off on that level. So any new person that comes into our team now, on the first day, we have an onboarding process. So we have, you know, basically the first week mapped out, and we have it in a nice you know, A4 document printed out, going, okay, this is what we're gonna be working on. We're gonna be doing an induction from 8 till 9, then we're gonna talk about the vision, values, etc., mission of the business, and we're really going through that process, and we're really spending the time up front. Because if you can spend your time up front with the right person, it's going to save you so much time on the back end. In any organization, whether you're solopreneuring or you've just got your first virtual assistant or your first team member, that you're going to be faced with things not being met, expectations not being met, and majority of the time the expectations aren't being met because the expectations aren't being set. So you need to set your expectations, and it's something I talk to all my coaching students. Whether you're hiring your first team member or you've already got a dozen team members on board, you need to make sure that this culture, that it's instilled within each person, knowing what their expectations are. And look, you can't outline every single expectation that there ever could possibly be. Just know that it's evolving and it develops, and how you get super clear on the expectation is you write it down, take away the black and white, or take away the gray, and have the black and white, make it's in fine print, so that the only thing you ever do is you have that conversation based off this process you've created, going, hey, I noticed that this thing here, this thing there hasn't been done. Can you help me explain as to why it hasn't been? And then let the person explain. Instead of going, oh shit, why didn't you do this? Have you done that yet? Is that done? Just becomes a very mixed dialogue. So generally you got to look at, is it the person or the process? The person is the thing that's always involved, right? There's always the person involved in it, unless of course it's an automated setup. But you just need to go back to, what's the thing that's stopping this process from moving forward? Is it because someone's not working the process, or is it the process has holes in it? So you need to figure that out. First place to start. Because if you have a sheet that says 50% deposit and you ask for 60, it's like, oh. But what it does do is it automatically qualifies that it's a 50% deposit as well, so it locks it, because it's there, it's your paperwork, it states that. You always present the offer of the terms that best suits you, right? The one that you want. Because if you give someone too many options and they take option number 3 when you really want them to, for your business to take number 1, it's like you're shooting yourself in the foot. Only show option 3 when they can't do 1 or 2. And you position it in such a way so that you are able to guide people on what the best option is going to be. Pricing is an interesting thing. It comes down to positioning, how you're positioning your products, and pricing is one of the variables of positioning. In sales psychology, there's a number of things that you could do from a, if you've seen any pricing graphs, has one price here, another price there, another price there, and then they have a nice little banner and it says most popular. People generally like to go with the, what's most popular? I mean, I've heard friends do it, like even when we're at a restaurant, they'll go, what's the most popular? I'm like, who gives a shit what's most popular? What do you feel like eating? But if we go back to pricing for a minute, if you don't want someone to be on a payment plan of $1 a week for 52 weeks, you'd rather than pay $52 up front, don't give them the $1 a week payment plan. However, if they can't pay the $52 up front and you want to give them an option so they can still purchase whatever it is, then give them the 52-week payment plan, right? So it's just about positioning what you want first, what's going to help the business first, the cash flow perspective first, and then you can look at what your other potential options are as well. Don't ever offer a price that you're going to look back and go, why did I do that big discount? Or why did I offer that crazy payment plan? People mostly price things based off their own money mindset. At the end of the day, you can dictate whatever terms you want. If you say, look, we need 100% upfront right now before we get started, then that's your terms. Be prepared to lose some clients, though, potentially for it, or potential prospects who don't want those terms. But in this conversation I just had was why, like this person was originally just taking 10% upfront and then payment upon completion. Why not at least 50-50? And then once you settle with 50-50, why not 60-40? Why not 70-30? At what point does it break? What point does it start becoming more disadvantageous to your prospect? I got stuck on the disadvantageous word. Disadvantageousness. Bottom line, price your shit properly and don't be afraid to ask for what you want. That was terrible, but I don't want to break it. I've already broken the mic. You got my point, what I was supposed to do. Something I see so many people in business do wrong, from my view, is they let their client dictate the terms. I.e., you know, oh no, I want this, send me this, or do this. And what can happen at times is you can get caught behind the 8 ball. It's like if you're in a sales meeting, the person asking the question should be the person, you know, the salesperson, and they ask the question, then they listen, and then ask a better question. But when it comes to potential clients dictating how they want it to go, you know, I see so many people changing their process and their system based off that, because they're scared that they may lose that prospect or that client. You know, so if you have a policy where you're like, you don't send prices before a sales meeting, don't send prices before a sales meeting. You know, if you have a process where you don't talk about cost until the sales process, don't talk about cost until the sales process. Even if the customer goes, oh, tell me how much it is, I want to know. Say, well, look, if that's your only concern, then, you know, obviously we can't move forward, because we can't give you a cost right now based off, there's a number of variables that we need to figure out. So you got to be diligent with your process. You know, like you wouldn't go to a brain surgeon and say, hey, look, doc, I only want this operation just to take an hour, so speed it up. You know, you're not going to dictate the terms there. If you go to the doctor and they give you an x-ray and you're like, oh, you got a broken tibia and fibia, and you go, look, I don't want a cast, you know, you got to, the same thing, whilst you're not talking about broken bones or life or death, you're talking about your business, which is broken bones and life or death. That's how you got to take it. You got to play this game seriously. The person who's technically dictating the terms, they're only dictating the terms because they're probably that type of personality who always needs to feel like they're in control. But the reality is everyone loves to be led. Deep down, everyone loves to be led. So if your business is set up in a way that it leads someone to the next best step, you're gonna win. You're gonna win all day, every day. And that's us. I'm going home. Jeez. I'm gonna one day try and get out of here early. I'm dictating my own terms. Yeah. Damn you. I hope you liked today's vlog. Please be sure to like, subscribe, share, tap the like button, the love button, subscribe button, any button that you see around this video, I'm sure you can tap it. Also, please be sure to leave a comment below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.